5 unique qualities that men find super hot and very attractive. That's what I'm going to be sharing today. Before we get into those, don't forget, I did a thing. I wrote a book, and it's very good, especially if you're dating, particularly full of dating skills, dating advice, that sort of, all the dating jizz and jazz, and it's all there. And if you don't want to read it, you can listen to it as well. And if you like my voice, it is on Audible. So I did the whole thing. And in the description, a couple of things. There's a one-on-one coaching form if you want to work with me personally. There's a Facebook group if you want personalized advice from the ladies and moderators in there. And there's a free download, a couple of free downloads. There's a texting to make him yours downloads, a couple of cool stuff. So if you're interested in that, check in the description. Let's do it. Today, great qualities, what did I call this video? Unique qualities that men find super hot. I interviewed a bunch of my male friends. I did a couple of surveys online. Speaking of which, got a couple of videos coming out soon. I know a while back I did a video on, what was it? It was what men think when receiving oral sex. That was it. So you guys love that. So I did a big survey thing on what men think and feel when giving oral sex. So that's coming your way as well. There's some really interesting answers in there. But anyway, I did another survey on this. So 5 qualities that men find super hot. We got some really interesting answers, and they're a bit all over the shop, which I think is kind of cool. So here they are. Let's take it away. The first one, I can't believe this hasn't come up before. The first one is good posture. Good posture. This is something I think all of us can work on, myself included. When us men see a woman with good posture, it communicates so many attractive things about you. It communicates your self-worth. It communicates how attractive you think you are. It communicates how much space you want to take up in the world. Really good things from good posture. I, in fact, did a whole video. We did a whole video where we got the rails out. What are they called, Matty, where you get a big rail?
Dolly.
The dolly, yeah. So the camera was rolling along these rails, and we filmed Jamia doing all these walks.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea what happened to that video. Anyway, we did a whole video on this just to highlight this point. The way you walk, the way you hold yourself, standing up straight. I always love the instruction of pulling your spine up to the sky. If you're walking around like that, chest out, men notice. We notice when you sit down, we notice when you stand up, we notice when you're moving around. A woman's walk is very telling on an unconscious level for a man. So a big thing that came up a lot, if you could hold good posture, really stand out wherever you are. Number 2, second thing, I love this one, and it's a personal favorite of mine. Unique qualities that men find super hot is healthy anger. Having a good bit of fuck you. Good bit of backbone. So what do I mean by healthy anger? So anger is our emotion of boundaries. Nature gave us anger to help us set boundaries. I've talked about this in a couple of other videos, so I won't go into it exhaustively here. But when you have good access to a good little punch of anger, you got good access to setting your own boundaries. And if someone really stuffs you around, you sometimes need a little more anger. The reason anger gets a bad rap is that most people either don't know how to use it, so they suppress it or shame it, or they use it and take it out on the person in a really unhealthy way, and they like bite back or go against their own values and do something nasty. Healthy anger is just the ability to have a really solid, enforceable backbone. It's like the moment sort of 6 months into my own relationship, where I was kind of like, being my avoidant self, getting a bit like lazy with things. And my girlfriend very pleasantly and very calmly said, look, if this isn't something you're serious about, if I'm not like a serious person for you, don't fuck me around. Look me straight in the eyes. And, excuse me, I see clients who don't have this struggle really often, because often what ends up happening is that they're really understanding and they're like, oh, he only hurt me or did this thing because he had this background or this upbringing, or like this thing happened to him, and like, I understand, I want to be an understanding, good person. And the result is this excess understanding and insufficient anger means they get really fucked around. Their time gets wasted, their emotions get dragged through the mud. And if you have good, healthy anger, a good backbone to you, that just won't happen to you. So you can have understanding and healthy anger backbone. Just because you understand why a dog bit you because it was abused doesn't mean you don't put it in the cage or have a boundary there. So healthy anger, understanding, those can go together. You don't have to be an a-hole to apply this. Unique quality though, I guarantee that men find super hot, healthy anger, having a backbone, having that good little bit of FU to draw on when you need it. Number three is a personal favorite of mine because it was always kind of one of my passions, is Social confidence. And I know all you introverts, like myself, hate hearing this one. But you know what? We're 2 years into this pandemic now. You can have your vaccine. We've all had it, or if you don't want to have it, you don't have it. Good for you. But getting out there, taking your mask off, talking to people, it's more important for us introverts now than it ever has been. By all means, take precautions if you need to, but this is a particular message to the introverts, or the extroverts who want to build their confidence. Don't let this be your excuse any longer. Build up your social confidence. It's not just about attracting guys. It'll make you feel so much better. It'll make you don't have to worry about social events and occasions and things that you go to. As I say, I 100% get where you're coming from if you're lacking with this. It is worth it. Being able to talk to people, sitting with the discomfort, putting yourself out there, it's worth it in your life. It just takes such a big weight off your shoulders, and it has that bonus. It's so attractive to guys who see you with it. So social confidence, unique quality, men find super hot. Obviously goes with interacting with his family and stuff as well. It all helps. Number 4, unique quality, men find super hot. I've done a couple of videos on this. It's so important, I want to mention here. Self-respect. I do want to go a little deeper though, because I think that idea is like, oh, just be self-respecting. Like, what does that actually mean? What are you respecting about yourself? What is the self here that's being respected? The self can be lots of things. The self can be your standards. The self can be your opinions. The self can be your body. A big one of yourself is your time. So that's like your respect for your own time. I mean, think about it. If I'm sitting there wanting a date with you and I'm sitting by my phone hoping to get a date, hoping you'll call me, hoping you'll text back, not really doing anything else with my time, I'm not really respecting my time. I'm just kind of throwing it in the garbage or close to it, I'm not really showing a high value of it. And people tend to value things highly that we demonstrate are high value. So if I value my time highly, you will value my time and therefore me more highly as well. It's the same with your opinions. If you value your opinions highly, people will respect them and you. Versus if you don't and you throw them away, people won't respect them and you. So I just wanted to go a little deeper into that concept of self-respect, because I think it gets thrown around a lot and often gets related to like sexual shaming and stuff, and I'm not really about that. It's more about the things that you have that matter to you, whether it's your time, your priorities, your family, your money, your emotions, your boundaries, your standards in dating. Another big one, for example, I see is if a woman says, oh, I have a standard for a guy who's consistent. Great, fantastic. Oh, and now I'm totally in love with this guy that I've been on one date with and I don't care about that standard so much because he makes me feel so good. You're showing you don't value that consistency standard all that much. You're valuing your feelings and whatever he did one time a lot more. So that's another example of how what you value matters. So very unique quality that men find hot is having that self-respect across different areas of your self. And number 5, this is a big one, and I talk to clients about this a lot because if you've ever been insecure or felt needy, this is in any situation really, this is a really big one for you. And it is responsibility. Unique quality that men find super hot. Almost every man in his life, in fact, I'd say every man in his life has either been with a woman or heard a disaster story from a friend of his who was with a woman where that woman used her insecurities or emotions to be controlling. And a man's number one fear is being controlled. You want to get the men out of your life, get rid of them, not have any dates, just go controlling them. That's a simple strategy. You don't want any men, I don't want to see a man, just try to control them all the time. They'll get out of your life. So responsibility, why is this important? Well, sometimes you'll have insecurities come up. I see this all the time. I've seen it in my own relationship. I dealt with it in a client's relationship recently that are not actually the current guy you're seeing's fault. For example, let's say he has a friend that he's known a long time and he hangs out with her, I don't know, once every couple of months, and that makes you insecure. It's not his fault. You've met her, nothing sus, but it's still an insecurity thing that's coming up for you. Another one is, let's say that the attractive friend is a good one. Let's say he goes on to social nights or something and he seems like a really genuine guy. He's not doing anything wrong, but just the fact he has these social nights when you're doing your own thing makes you insecure, right? That's okay. But what you don't want to do there is make him responsible for your insecurity or your feelings. You want to take responsibility for it. And so when I'm working with a client who's really worried about, oh, I don't want to bring this stuff up to the guy because like, I don't think like he's doing anything wrong and I don't want to seem needy. You can bring it up and you can do it in a very attractive way if you take responsibility for it. You can bring stuff up with a guy and not even ask him to change anything. I've had a girlfriend of mine do that. She said, this is something that has happened that makes me insecure. I don't actually want you to change anything. This is my thing from when I was with my dad or when I was with my ex-boyfriend. This is completely my thing, and I know that you're not doing anything wrong here. I just wanted to let you know that this is an insecurity I'm working through. So if I seem a little withdrawn, or if I seem a little quiet, or if I even get passive or anything, I just want you to know that that's something I'm really working on, and here's an action step I've taken, and even though that insecurity is there, I'm not going to use it to control you. That is a show of responsibility right there, and that is very attractive because now as the man, and the man is usually the guardian of freedom in the relationship, now as the man I feel safe to come close to you because you're not going to use your feelings to control me like I've heard, and all those other horror stories are in my previous relationship. So this is a big one. By you taking responsibility, I am safe to come close to you. I'm not going to lose control of myself, my life, etc. Huge one. Taking responsibility. Big one. Fellas, if you're still here, still watching as well, same for you. Hey, which of these do you already do? And which do you want to work on a little bit in yourself? Or actually, you know what? Leave a comment as well on a unique quality you find super hot in a man.